Yesterday, I had a beautiful conversation in English, and I certainly don't remember every detail, but I remember, and it still resonates in me, the atmosphere, the energy of the conversation. And I remember at one point, maybe three quarters of in this conversation, I said, "Oh, I wish we would have recorded it. That was such a beautiful co-creation. We were inspiring each other to expressing deep insights, revelations, thoughts, experiences. Yeah. And at one point, I got the question as a gift, as a present for me, to me, in the content of what helps me or helped me and still works for me best to really get in touch with myself, to really get in contact with this authority inside of me, this space inside of me, which is just purely accepting myself. During the years of self-exploration and self-caring, learning to take care of myself, I came to a beautiful little exercise in this, with the idea loving myself, which is mostly very hard. And especially if I am confronted with behavior I don't like about myself, things I say, how I say them. Also, when I feel something that I would love to express and I don't, I hold it back for the sake of peace with the other. That's a behavior I don't really like of myself, because in the aftermath I don't feel well, as I have held something back. And then it's still playing out its energy inside of myself. So my question is, can I accept that I just behaved like this or like that? Can I accept that I don't like myself? No. Can I accept that I cannot accept liking myself or disliking myself or having behaved this or that way? And if there's still a no, I ask again, can I accept that I cannot accept that I cannot accept? And at one point I do naturally fall into yes. At one point there is a yes. I can accept myself not accepting myself. And then something is starting to work. And then it goes further above. It rises upward until I'm finally able to accept myself, that I don't like the way I just acted. And then everything is set. That's all I need. That's all that's needed. If I don't like myself, I don't need to work on myself. I don't need to work hard or use methods or try out stuff or find out or invest a lot of money. How can I change myself? All it really needs, and that's my experience, is that I need to accept myself at one point. And then all the other energies fall in place. And then there is a peace, and that's actually a relaxation taking place in my whole nervous system. And that leads to a growth of my consciousness, so that a next time I'm already a little bit more aware in a certain situation when something arises that makes me act or behave a way I don't want to behave like. And then I slow down. And before I react to a situation that earlier brought me into a reaction mode, in an automated reaction mode, I hold a little, just a couple of minutes or split seconds, and I get in touch with the one in me that doesn't react, but act. And that's a path. It doesn't happen from yesterday to today. But the more I practice it, the quicker it happens. Just accepting myself, not being able to accept myself, for example. And then something shifts. And another method or work or idea that really helps me is to speak out loud what I'm thinking when I'm by myself. Just to listen to my unconscious thoughts that drive me and sometimes drive me crazy. So, for example, when I'm cutting vegetables for my dinner, and I'm concentrating to not cut in my finger, I'm just with the knife and this vegetable. My brain is starting to think, and so my concentration is partly with cutting the vegetable and partly with the contents of my thinking. And I notice I don't like what I'm thinking. I just don't like it. It makes me feel bad. It turns me in a bad mood. But if I start talking out loud and I listen to myself, or I want to say myself is listening to myself, it's taking place. The listening to myself is taking place. The tones that are formulated, the music, so to say, that's caused through my voice cords and making sense to my head because it's words I know, and they actually reach my ears, and they reach them on a physical level, and also then on a meaning-making level in my head. And so it's different levels that are actually reached through me talking out loud, and then it goes down into my body and it is digested, and then there is some kind of ruminating taking place, and I express again maybe what was caused inside of me through hearing myself, through listening to myself in a deeper way. And if you think, well, I can be conscious about my thoughts and I can think it, I want to really ask you, I want to beg you to try out to speak it out loud. It's different. It is different to just think a thought from talking it out loud. But the brain is reached in a different way. And what I found out playfully is, for example, taking something in my right hand or in my left hand for a while, playing with it. As I'm writing with my right hand, I prefer to move my left hand to activate different spaces in my brain. So that's another little experiment that you can do. Take something in your right hand and your left hand, play with it a while, talk out loud, and see what is happening. What kind of energy, what kind of atmosphere is caused talking and listening and feeling yourself while you play with whatever you play with. Or another thing you can do is just close one eye and close the other eye. Not quickly as I do it right now, but longer, and then keep talking. And that's because our brain is then reacting in different ways, because it's stimulated in different ways. There are beautiful little brain's half synchronization practices that you can do. And this is just one, talking out loud and closing an eye or holding something in your hand. And what was found out is that there's one part in your right brain half that is for actually being connected with the present moment. So if you activate your right brain half in playing with something in your left hand, then the chance is there that you stay more present with what you are experiencing, and you're not drifting off into thoughts that may take you away into a bad mood. So this is something that really helps me most, to talk out loud what I say and to actually record it on my little recording device. And then if I listen to it, sometimes weeks or months later, I can actually compare myself to myself and realize what has changed. And as I have done this for so long now, the moment I record something, I know that the me of the future will be listening to me. So I already feel listened by a me that is wiser than I am right now, because wisdom is just growing. I don't have a feeling that's not possible. Wisdom is growing. Whatever you do, you are just gathering wisdom, and whatever you experience, what you do, what you don't do, what you not experience, is just, that's my experience. Wisdom is growing. So if I listen to something 3 months from now, it's a little wiser me that's listening to me. And that sometimes I say, oh, gee, what have I had? Problems I had back then. Ah. And other times it's like, oh, okay. Okay, I remember. That's the state I was in back then. And there is a loving part. And so I'm when I'm talking to myself and recording it, I'm picturing this more loving, wiser part of me listening to me. And that helps. If you don't have somebody around you who you really trust, that they really only listen to you and don't judge you and don't label you, and if there's nobody around you, try that. Try it. It helped me so much to heal, actually. So the title I want to give to this video is what I got back from my conversation partner yesterday, which was, as I said, talking out loud. And the idea was, well, journaling is good too. Journaling, just writing down. And so the idea was to call it journaling journaling out loud. I have been writing a lot, long time ago. And then sometime I stopped because devices were invented where I could record what I'm saying. And then when I finally started to learn typing with 10 fingers, I preferred that. I liked that a lot. And then I found out when I wrote with my right hand, there was a difference to writing with both hands, because then both brain halves are activated when I write with my both hands. And so if you like to journal and handwrite, I propose take the other hand. Try to write down what you want to write down with your other hand, with the hand you don't usually write with. Then you activate the other brain half that is usually activated. That's also a little brain half synchronization practice. Yeah. So I guess that's what I mainly wanted to share, and there's always more to say, and I'll leave it at that. And thank you for listening.